Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me today to go over our session of Additive Manufacturing 101 with Stratasys. My name is Richard Cromwell. I am an additive manufacturing applications engineer based out of Metro Detroit, Michigan. I work out of the Auburn Hills location. And the purpose of today's session is going to be a high-level view of the Stratasys additive manufacturing landscape and some new topographical features that have appeared on that landscape. And so we're going to discuss what is additive manufacturing briefly, who is Stratasys, then we'll do a technology breakdown, and then hopefully have some time for questions and answers at the end. So before we get started, we need to ask the question, what is additive manufacturing? We need to define that term. And additive manufacturing technologies as a whole can be aggregated into 7 different categories. Vat polymerization, material extrusion, material jetting, binder jetting, powder bed fusion, directed energy deposition, and sheet lamination. But for the sake of time, and we're going to limit the scope of our discussion to the Stratasys additive manufacturing technologies. Regardless of what additive manufacturing technology you're looking at, typically they all share the same basic process or workflow where you can create a digital 3D model. Here you can see a patient having her mouth scanned with an intraoral scanner, but it doesn't matter where the model comes from. Of course, the topic of today is SolidWorks, so it's very easy to generate models in SolidWorks and then export them into the next step, which is the processing and slicing in software. After that, we go to actually the rubber meeting the road, where we print the 3D object. And then there's always going to be some type of secondary, post-secondary processing involved where, you know, that includes like removing the part from the build tray, any support material that needs to be removed if there's excess resin that needs to be washed from the part. It's just technology and material dependent what that step is going to be. But the basic workflow holds true for all the different additive manufacturing processes to some degree. So that brings us to who is Stratasys. Stratasys have been leaders in the additive manufacturing industry for over 30 years. They are one of the original global leaders in the applied additive manufacturing technology solution space. And their aim today is to be the leader in polymer 3D printing during every step of a product's value chain. I like this quote from Dr. Zief, the CEO of Stratasys, who said, "Our strategic objective is to be the first choice in polymer 3D printing, delivering the most innovative, highest quality additive manufacturing solutions for designers, engineers, and manufacturers of end-use parts." For over 30 years, Stratasys has acquired an unrivaled collection of devoted customers across several major industrial sectors: automotive, aerospace and defense, industrial, healthcare. And I like to take a brief look at the 30-year history, some of my favorite moments. 1988 is when Scott Crump, the founder of Stratasys, invents Fused Deposition Modeling by mixing wax and plastic in the family kitchen, where he printed his child a little plastic frog. And by 2002, Stratasys had introduced the first 3D printer under $30,000. So let that sink in. It was the first printer back in 2002 dollars. 2012 is an interesting year because Stratasys and Objet, which was the company based out of Israel that developed multi-material printing via piezoelectric heads, they merged with Stratasys. And then 2020 is probably my favorite year because it's the year I started working for GoEngineer, and it is the year that they came out with my favorite little 3D printer, the Stratasys 255. So overall, what value does Stratasys provide? They provide a complete, they can provide a complete set of solutions and an ecosystem to serve every part of a product's value chain. Prototyping, manufacturing, tooling, jigs and fixtures, low volume, high performance parts, all the way through high volume parts. With several different technologies providing the characteristics and materials optimized for each application. So we have, if we look at this, we have like a full color realism for prototyping and product development, which is PolyJet. Mechanically accurate engineering prototypes here for stereolithography. Fast molds and strong metal replacement tools, jigs, and fixtures produced by Fused Deposition Modeling. Production parts for regulated industries like aerospace and medical with rigorous requirements. And then fast, consistent parts for mass production applications. But interestingly, another way to view this slide is through what we just talked about before, through the paradigm of various additive manufacturing technologies. So if we look at PolyJet, that's a material jetting technology. If we look at stereolithography and Origin P3, both of those are vat polymerization technologies. But the stereolithography is a bottom-up industrial process. And that kind of refers to how the part is being printed. It starts at the bottom and lowers the part into the vat as it's being printed, where Origin utilizes a top-down strategy. And the last one is going to be powder bed fusion. So we have material jetting, stereolithography or vat polymerization, material extrusion in the fused deposition modeling, and then powder bed fusion in SAF. So let's quickly talk about fused deposition modeling. When I mention 3D printing to somebody a lot of the time, this is the technology that often comes to mind initially. It's the common like glue gun on a gantry type machine that today is really popular with hobbyists. However, the machines that Stratasys produce are light years beyond like little toy widget makers. The FDM machines produced by Stratasys today are the culmination of 3 decades of technological innovation and evolution. They are essentially the gold standard, the touchstone against which all other 3D printers are judged. And Stratasys FDM customers today can choose from over 25 different thermoplastic formulations ranging from inexpensive prototyping plastics to an aerospace-rated low outgassing material that has been infused with chopped carbon fiber nanotubes. So whatever your AM application, FDM is often a good place to start when search for answers. And if we're going to take away anything from FDM and Stratasys, fused deposition modeling is a leader in reproducibility and dependability. These are powerful industrial grade materials, and this is proven in the market with world-leading manufacturers. And you can see here the range of products that are fused deposition modeling machines in the GoEngineer portfolio. These units are available in a range of sizes and different price points, from more design-centric office-friendly models to large format 3D production systems that can live on a factory floor. Common applications, of course, include rapid prototyping. These machines are able to print dimensionally accurate assemblies. It allows you to accelerate product design and iteration cycles, and ultimately it allows you to bring your products to market faster. Another huge segment for applications is manufacturing tooling. It allows improved production line efficiency with 3D printed manufacturing aids. You can shorten the production time with 3D printed tooling, and 3D printed parts that historically would have been made of metal can now be printed, which leads to a significant cost and weight reduction compared to traditional methods. Interestingly, Stratasys' internal analysis suggests that additive manufacturing market for polymer jigs and fixtures is expected to grow at about 14.2% annually between 2019 and 2023 to nearly a $600 million market. Now we get to talk about my favorite additive technology. It's PolyJet. Now I'm technology agnostic really because you have to choose the best tool for the job, but PolyJet is a lot of fun and it's an amazing technology. I have this little video that I like to show. PolyJet printers can utilize either a traditional Cartesian gantry system or a rotational polar axis, as can be seen in this video. Specialized piezoelectric heads jet microscopic droplets of UV curable photopolymer resin materials simultaneously directly onto the build tray. PolyJet can quickly print extremely lifelike models with complex and intricate geometry, full color, and digital material combinations that allow you to program mechanical properties such as shore value, durometer, and much more. So we're got to keep moving. So applications that you can use PolyJet technology extremely well for are things like design realism, because it can produce over 500,000 colors, Pantone validated colors. It uses a keyshot integration. Keyshot's like a rendering software. Bump map and texture duplication, and then also you can store everything in a 3MF file format, which is really nice. Another application that's very common with PolyJet technologies are anatomical models. You're able to print parts that are capable of biomechanical testing, and so you have similar compliance and density and failure modes as actual human tissue and bone, highly repeatable and consistent results, accurate biomechanical behavior, and clinically relevant benchtop testing. And another innovation in this space that is quite recent is the development of a radio-opaque PolyJet material that is available on digital anatomy printers. That's a pretty groundbreaking advancement. So if we look at the PolyJet portfolio, again, Stratasys offers the technology in a range of build platform sizes and price points, as well as several specialty machines targeted at specific medical and dental applications. But the key takeaways are for PolyJet solutions, these three printers can scale from desktop to enterprise solutions, everything in between. This is the only color 3D printers that are Pantone validated with over 640,000 color options. And it has incredible accuracy down to 14 microns, so the resolution is fantastic. And again, being able to print in multi-materials and being able to program mechanical properties into your models is a advantage that is singular to PolyJet, really. But a neat innovation, just a neat innovation in this space as well is recently PolyJet gained the ability to print directly onto a fabric substrate. And so this opens a range of new applications, from wearable technologies to automotive interiors. You can see the Mercedes-Benz like automotive interior up here. And think about like camouflage and many more applications. But this is very exciting space. And it's kind of neat to see. This is what the machine looks like, a J850 that has been retrofitted to be able to print on fabric. Okay, so the next technology is actually the original 3D printing technology. This is stereolithography. So stereolithography is an additive manufacturing process that uses a vat of liquid ultraviolet curable photopolymer resin and a UV laser to build parts one layer at a time. For each layer, the laser beam scans a cross-section of the parts, vectors and raster on the surface of the liquid resin. Exposure to the UV laser light solidifies the cross-section and adheres it to the layer below. After one complete layer has been scanned, the platform descends by a single layer thickness, typically around 4 thousandths. Then a resin-filled blade, which is called a recoder, and you'll see this as a common theme across a few of the different AM technologies. The recoder moves across the vat, applying another layer of resin on top of the parts. On this new liquid surface, a next layer is scanned, adhering to the previous layer. The process continues until all layers of all parts have been scanned. After building, parts are raised from the vat and drained, and then they are cleaned in a cleaning solution and finally cured in a UV oven. Stereolithography is the original additive manufacturing technology. It was pioneered by a Japanese researcher named Hideo Kodama in the early 1980s. It was patented by Chuck Hull, the founder of 3D Systems, in 1984. And then it was quickly adopted by the automotive industry and soon branched out to other industrial sectors, becoming adopted on a large scale. In 2020, the stereolithography segment led the global 3D printing market and accounted for more than 10% share of the industrial revenue. So the key takeaways for stereolithography, is that, especially the Neo line of industrial grade 3D printers, they can produce accurate parts with superior surface quality, exceptional detail. They're high repeatability, high volume, large parts. And so if you have like a really big part that also has very fine features, this is an excellent technology to use. The primary use cases are like single material concept modeling, prototyping, and investment casting applications. And then a secondary application would be rapid tooling. Okay, let's talk about the other form of vat polymerization, the top-down version, digital light processing, DLP. Origin P3 technology is based on vat photopolymerization. This little graphic here kind of shows how things are working. You have a projector that it's a UV projector that goes to a DMD through a lens. DMD is like a digital mirror device that will end up reflecting the image to the bottom of the tray of resin. And see, there's a membrane right here, and that's important. It's kind of like, it functions similarly in the way to how the recoder kind of functions in the stereolithography machine. It breaks the resin, it breaks the part away from the bottom of the tray so that you can lift the part up and then print the next layer underneath. One of the really nice things about this system is that because it has so few moving parts, there's really only one, and that's the Z-axis. There's not very much that can go wrong with a system like this, so they're very reliable. We'll talk about the pneumatic separation mechanism in just a minute, because that's one of the critical components of the Origin 1 system, and it's one of the major differentiators between this DLP system and others that are on the market. And so this shows that pneumatic separation mechanism. You can see once it's projected, the membrane is lifted up and then vacuumed back down, which breaks away the part. And so then you can print the next layer. Another interesting thing about this, if you're going to do a comparative analysis to other vat photopolymerization technologies, is that the green strength, or the parts that are printed on this technology, the green strength is much higher right out of the vat. So before any type of post-cure process, which is generally required with resin printing, these parts come out pretty strong, and then they're even stronger after the UV post-cure. But with stereolithography, the parts can be a little bit brittle, like traditional stereolithography. So the key takeaways from this technology platform is that this is a system that can produce world-class accuracy and resolutions, unmatched material breadth, really high-quality engineering-grade resins that can be like fire safety or fire, smoke, and toxicity rated. And just really, really tough resins. And then cloud connectivity for performance and scale. I want to show you the next slide. Kind of talks about the scaling factor of a technology like this. So this week at FormNext 2022 in Frankfurt, Stratasys is exhibiting a P3 automated production cell, a demonstration project that shows how Stratasys P3 technology can be scaled to a factory-level solution. The P3 automated production cell enables 24/7 production with nearly zero operator involvement required. The process is tightly controlled, and the part results are entirely repeatable. And here's how it works. Parts are printed on the Origin 1 3D printer, and after printing, the robotic arm removes the build head with the attached parts. The build head is then taken automatically to the washing process. After part washing, the parts are UV cured. Finished parts are scraped from the build head and placed into a bin, and then the empty build head is automatically returned to the next available printer. This automated process ensures continuous production from printing to final part, streamlining costs in post-production while maximizing throughput. The P3 automated production cell can also be configured with any number of printers and various post-processing equipment options to suit different production floor volumes and needs. So that's some breaking news there from Formnext. The final technology that we're going to talk about is Selective Absorption Fusion, SAF. This falls under the category of powder bed fusion. And so how does SAF technology work? This is a powdered layer by layer additive manufacturing process in which parts are created by fusing selected areas of the powder a layer at a time. A layer of powder is deposited to recoat the previous layer, and parts are defined by jetting high absorption fluid into fine featured shapes with the industrial piezoelectric print heads. An infrared lamp passes immediately after, causing the powder particles to heat up and fuse together where the fluid has been printed. This unidirectional printing process is special to SAF technology and is designed to create a homogeneous thermal experience for all powder particles across the whole bed surface. Uniform thermal processes reduce variability in the part manufacturing process, improving the consistency of the parts produced. Two key variables that need to be tightly controlled are therefore the powder recoating, so that it is repeatable, and the fluid jetting to ensure that only the required features are printed. SAF breaks new ground with its big wave powder management and proven industrial grade piezoelectric print heads. So this shows the big wave powder management and how it delivers consistency of powder recoating and has a unique powder recirculation system to reduce powder and thermal aging. The industrial grade print heads are already proven in high temperature applications such as ceramic tile printing industry. They have been designed to be robust, but still be able to print fine feature details repeatably in a challenging manufacturing environment. And for the H350, these proven heads are not a consumable item that you need to worry about in your total cost of ownership calculation. So we include the required replacements as part of your regular service contract. SAF technology and the H350 printer have been developed to suit the needs of manufacturing and series manufacturing. They focus on consistency, the flexibility of the system and the processes involved, and improve business cases. So we're using less consumables than a lot of the other systems out there, and we're using a single fluid. The technological innovations pertaining to the uniform thermal environment and the recoater, as well as like how it has the two carriages working together. It's all pretty unique and allows this machine to have a significant amount of uptime and produce some pretty fantastic parts. So SAF industries and applications, automotive, it's already being used in that space. Industrial machine components, like bearing cages, filters, electronic housing, flanges, end-of-arm tooling, and then as well as consumer goods. What's fantastic about these parts is they can be subjected to a whole host of different finishing solutions, from chemical smoothing to painting, dyeing, and all at the same time being able to produce some pretty challenging and difficult geometries. So SAF is a very agile technology, and the H350 is able to produce parts at high volume in a great variety of parts. So the key takeaways from this one are this system is built for throughput, it's built for reliability and repeatability, and the focus is on an economically compelling operation, so you can produce lots of parts at high volume, very inexpensive. One neat thing about this, I wanted to show a short clip announcing the recent addition of a new material to the H350 lineup. It is PA12. But I also like it because it showed what a build produced using SAF technology looks like before going into post-processing. You have to decake your parts and get all that extra power. And as you can probably imagine, dealing with all the small particles of powdered polymer introduces a layer of complexity to this technology, but overcoming that challenge is rewarded with the ability to produce highly precise, additively manufactured parts at scale. So just finally, all of these systems wouldn't be of much use without great software to help run it. So we'll talk about that just very, very quickly. All of these technologies utilize Stratasys' proprietary build preparation and slicing software, GrabCAD Print, which is really nice because then you can have one place to go for all of your build preparation and slicing needs, regardless of what technologies you have on the floor. Another interesting software application that I frequently am talking about is GrabCAD Shop. This is like a work order management application. It's web-based that is phenomenal for maximizing the efficiency of operators and machine utilization. And so, in summation, we'll talk very briefly about why is additive manufacturing important. There are many industries that can be served with additively produced parts. Any industry that is producing low to mid volumes can benefit. But if we look at like the dental industry, for example, it's $1 billion market, and it's growing strong. They need fast and accurate aligners, dentures, splints, guards, tooling, models, and molds. And I frequently am telling people that more parts are additively manufactured in the dental industry than all other industries. Medical is also a $1 billion opportunity. In fact, in 2020, Origin 3D printed and shipped hundreds of thousands of nasopharyngeal swabs for COVID-19 testing, as well as spare parts for ventilator systems and other PPE. In the automotive space, 3D printed parts are being used everywhere, from prototyping to end-use parts of vehicles. Stratasys FDM printers are routinely used as a fast and reliable way to produce tools, jigs, and fixtures in order to cut weight, time, and cost from the automotive assembly process. In aerospace, Stratasys recently won a gold medal at the U.S. Air Force Advanced Manufacturing Olympics for designing a 3D printed hydro plant for the F-16 fighter jet. And to date, over 300,000 parts are already flying that have been made with Stratasys systems, demonstrating their ability to deliver certifiable consistency and reliability. And these are just some of the ways that Stratasys can move major industries forward with their technology. So Stratasys is creating value across every stage of the product development lifecycle, from concept models, functional prototypes, final prototypes, assembly fixtures, inspection fixtures, end-of-arm tooling, and bridged production solutions, low to mid-volume production, and end-of-life production. So, we have approximately 1 minute and 9 seconds. So I timed this pretty well. If anybody has some questions, I'd be happy to answer if you want to type them into the chat. But if not, that's okay too. I want to thank everybody for spending the time with me today to go over this material, Additive Manufacturing 101 with Stratasys. I hope everybody continues to enjoy the What's New in SOLIDWORKS 2023 presentations, and thank you very much.